And we are back with another episode of Dan D'Antoni Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight by Dan O'Shea and Tony Casper. Dan Beebe is off for the evening. Tony, the reason I'm laughing is because I look over and you've got this ridiculous Red Sox hat on.
Fuck yeah, I do.
It's blue with a red brim. The B is the American flag. And it looks utterly ridiculous.
It is the 4th of July hat. Every team got them for playing on the 4th of July, or all the teams that had the 4th of July. You know what? Dig the American flag in the middle. Also dig the green brim for the monster. All for it.
So now we got a Yankees fan and a Red Sox fan.
In ridiculous hat buying.
Exactly. You know what? I'm not buying any ridiculous hats.
Well, then you are not cool.
The fact that I'm an A's fan is ridiculous enough.
That's true. Just buy an A's hat. That's ridiculous enough.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to buy, a hat and just parade around.
I won an A's hat a couple years ago. It's around here somewhere. It didn't fit me. I have a big head. It was a small hat.
You sure they didn't just give it away? You mean you actually had to pay for it?
No. Nope. Well, I mean, kind of. Pepsi was doing this promotion. If you got 3 Pepsi caps of the same team, you send it to Pepsi. They provided you with an address, tell them what team you want, and they'll send you a hat. Yeah.
Interesting. I don't remember that happening.
It was the Diamondbacks. I got 3 of the Diamondbacks caps, and I got an Oakland A's hat.
And I said, this team is shit. Give me the shittier team in the A's.
Exactly. The Diamondbacks, though, Zach Greinke to the Astros for prospects.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. The Astros are winning the World Series.
Holy shit, the Astros. Astros went all in. Yeah. Yankees and Red Sox were like, we're going to hold tight. We think we're doing okay. Astros were like, we're the number 3 team in baseball. Fuck it. Give us more. They got loaded.
They doubled down on starting pitching. And when you have 3 bad dudes who can start a game and go 7 innings for you, it makes your playoff rotation so much easier to be able to handle. You just need to have a 4th fill in that role, but you have 3 beasts that can take pretty much 6 out of your 7 games on the hill.
Garrett Cole is the worst of the 3. How ridiculous is that?
That's bananas. Most teams are going away from starting. Most teams are going away from starting pitching and more focused on relief pitching. Houston doubled down on that and is easily, in my opinion, the favorite to win the World Series. They have a lineup that just produces hit after hit after hit after hit, and you have 3 starting pitchers who can literally hold you down with less than 3 ERAs for 6 out of the 7 starts.
It's crazy.
There's no reason why they shouldn't win the World Series.
The A's did what they thought was going to help them, get a deep push. In the past 2 weeks, they've added 3 new starting pitchers, which, Homer Bailey's good. He's good. I was pretty excited when we didn't get rid of shit to get him.
That's fair.
They added Rourke at the deadline. Funny story about Rourke. He came from the Cleveland Reds, the Cincinnati Reds, to the A's, but he found out he was traded when he was back home in Atlanta in the parking lot of an Arby's on his way in to get a beef and cheddar with curly fries.
Oh, that's interesting. Zach Greinke got traded immediately after he had just stepped off the mound after pitching 7 innings, allowing 2 earned runs with 7 Ks against the Yankees.
Ridiculous.
And they're like, oh, by the way, you're going to Houston now. They saw your performance, they're sold.
It's just, I don't...
Trevor Bauer got traded in the last play of his career in Cleveland, was him turning around and throwing the baseball out of the field of play
Oh, God. And
In
the
the
center,
same trade, Yasiel Puig left the Cincinnati Reds, which he got traded and was still on the field afterwards.
and didn't want to leave the field.
Yeah, and then proceeded to get into a fight in the same game that the Reds pitcher decided he was going to fight all of Pittsburgh.
The entire dugout.
Yeah, like he went off the mound sprinting at the dugout.
Just him by himself.
Yeah,
It was
no
ridiculous.
backup, nothing. It was. I don't know what happened the last 48 hours in baseball, but I've been loving every minute of it.
Oh, man. I know we don't talk much about baseball, and that's why Dan O'Shea hasn't really chimed in much. But are you surprised the Mets didn't trade Wheeler or Syndergaard?
I'm surprised
Mostly
the Mets
Wheeler?
didn't really do anything. 'Cause I'm actually surprised that New York didn't do anything. In general, Yankees didn't go out and get anything to make their team better. Their pitching is a complete question mark. Boston kind of just accepted, oh, well, we are what we are this year. Good thing we won last year. And the Mets could have traded some things away. Wheeler seemed like he was as good as gone. Syndergaard, there was an issue with the Yankees. I get that. Syndergaard doesn't want to cut his hair because he's probably never going to play for the Yankees with that being the case.
And the Mets will never trade a player to the Yankees.
Right. I kind of thought that Boston was going to take a swing at trying to get Syndergaard just over to where they were. But they probably would have had to give either JD or Mookie, and I don't think that's what anything that the Boston wanted to do.
No, not at all.
But I'm just surprised that they couldn't find a win. I'm really surprised they couldn't find a landing spot for Wheeler or Syndergaard. I thought one of the two was sure to go down or be shipped out.
I'm just disappointed. I like what the A's were doing, giving up nothing, getting, a good amount in return. But when you hear a higher up in the organization taking questions about the trade deadline and possibly could trade, he said, for Syndergaard, Bauer, and the person, a reporter asked him, you said you guys were potentially going to try and trade for Bauer or Syndergaard, and he says not or, meaning
he's going for both.
He wanted to make a push for both.
If he couldn't get both, he wasn't going to do it. That's what that indicates to me, at least.
Yeah, it's just, I know this might sound delusional, but if the A's could have got Syndergaard, I think the A's could have gone deep in the playoffs. You very possibly could have seen A's Astros in the CS.
I'm sorry, I saw this yesterday on SportsCenter, and I can't not bring it up because once it's been seen, you can't unsee it. The LA Dodgers have a player on their team who is a catcher who is a rookie, and he's a white dude named Will Smith.
Huh.
They've nicknamed him the Fresh Prince.
That is great.
And he has 3 walk-off or go-ahead home runs since he's been brought up. And he's the youngest player, the only player to have 3 or more go-ahead home runs in the 9th inning or later in baseball history.
That's great.
He's got like 5 home runs since they brought him up, and they brought him up like 10 days ago. And this dude's just like, oh, clutch? Yeah, that's what I eat for breakfast. Oh, we need some runs here in the 9th? Oh, let me just swing this stick in, gone.
I mean, yeah.
It's just impressive, but I mean, I think it's cool that his name's Will Smith, personally.
That is cool. Going back to the A's, I know we're talking a lot about them, but they're mostly what I know in terms of baseball. I just am confused. The reason they brought in 3 starting pitchers at the trade deadline, those being Homer Bailey, Jake Diekman, and Tanner Roark, does that mean Sean Manaea is not expecting to play? Because why would you bring in 3 starters when you have 3 starters already that you are more than confident in and one who's injured? Are they expecting to save Manaea for I don't know, relief.
Right.
What's-
They're probably going with the tactic that a lot of teams have been going, is having starting pitchers be able to go into their rotation, because unlike a lot of other relievers, you can get starting pitchers to go 3 or 4 innings if you need to, if something has gone wrong or bad in the first 3 innings.
Yeah.
So that could be their tactic, because I know, that was a tactic that was used the last 2 years between the Sox and the Astros, is they'll bring in guys, especially when it came to Game 7. Everybody was on deck Game 7. Price was starting, but Sale had pitched the night before or 2 nights before, and he was like, I'm ready to go. And he did go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a game? Oh, wasn't it a 1-game playoff for the Detroit Tigers back when they had Pfister, Verlander, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but they were the 3 starting pitchers, and in the 1-game playoff, all 3 of them pitched?
Probably. I don't doubt it, because that's the way it's going. So that would be my mentality as far as the thought of what the A's were thinking, is they can play the hot hand at number 4 wherever they want, or be able to juggle it around whoever's hot at the time. But then you have quality guys who can come in if something goes wrong early to be able to really lock up the game and keep you in tight situations. Because with baseball, all you really need to do is have a chance. That's what's been killing me about the Red Sox season, is the fact that they're always down in games, it seems like, but they have 3 or 4 base runners at different times late in the games, but they can't drive them in. And that would be the difference between you being 3 games back versus 10 games back.
Right.
But that's baseball. You've got to be in a position where that even matters. You can't be down 10 runs because, okay, you have 3 base runners on. That doesn't mean shit even if you do hit a grand slam. You're not making up that ground.
You got to hit 2.5 grand slams.
But you have to keep games close for those at-bats to matter. And if something goes wrong with your starting pitcher, you don't want a Tanaka problem, where it just gets too out of control, and what, you going to expend your entire bullpen to try and make up his calamity?
The Yankees did that a couple years ago when Luis Severino just sucked.
Well, Severino can't be found right now, so I was shocked that the Yankees didn't make any move at all. They just didn't do anything. They thought they were good, and don't get me wrong, they've got a lot of really good hitters. I saw them firsthand, but you're basically trying to Saints this situation and be like, I can score more points than you. Which is good and great, but when you go up against